So that's a secret thing that I think so many people fail to see. It's not where you're going, but it's the path to get there that's the most enjoyable bit.
So closely linked to the mindset that the top achievers have, they've also, what we've noticed is they've got a certain way about goal setting and how they go after the goals that they want to achieve. What have you noticed? There's some commonalities of goal setting for the highest achievers.
Well, having very clear goals initially is the first thing. Sounds obvious, but so many people just say, oh yeah, no, my goal is to succeed in business. And you think, well, what does that even mean? How do you determine whether you succeeded? So you need a clear, actionable goal. And it's like, an architect who's going to build a house, they always start with the blueprint. It's written down first. It's a clear, written down goal that's drawn. And then they can meticulously plan each step. But it doesn't end there, because to create the house, you then need to take action. So in e-commerce, it's the same. When the build process begins, they take action, they implement the plan that they wrote down initially. They don't just keep planning and researching for the sake of it and delaying that action. That's something that we do see people do sometimes, which is usually it's procrastination based out of fear, because they're getting in their own way because there's something they don't want to do. Maybe they don't want to approach suppliers, or they don't want to. Sometimes people are fearful of succeeding and suddenly having loads of money coming in and being like, I don't know, it doesn't match my identity, because they never had that vision in the first place of them as that person with lots of money. So it's very interesting how this all kind of ties together. But yeah, our top achievers visualize not just the end goal, but also just the steps to get there along the way as well. They embrace, and as I was just talking about, they enjoy the actual journey, the process of it as well. The amount of members, and you'll see this as well in our Dropship Unlocked masterclass community, who say things like, and we literally get this kind of post every day, just signed my 4th or 5th or 6th supplier. I've got 100 more products now to upload to my store. Can't wait to get into uploading the products and get my ads live. That kind of post tells us that they're not just saying, finally got my 5th supplier signed, can't wait until I've earned a load of money and I finally can check the box that I've succeeded. They're excited about the process of uploading the products, of running the ads, because it's the build, it's the knowledge that they are immersing themselves in that they enjoy so much. So that's a secret thing that I think so many people fail to see. It's not where you're going, but it's the path to get there that's the most enjoyable bit.
Yeah, it's all about breaking down an initial big goal that they've set very clearly for themselves into smaller goals where they can see the progress they're making on a day-to-day basis. If you set the goal, like you said before, of just succeed in business, how do you know when you achieve that? Whereas the most successful people have a clear goal and they break that down crucially into actions they can take every day.
Yeah, exactly. So that's on like a day-to-day basis. I think the other thing is they do have to have those long-term clear goals visualized. And I always find that it's important to be completely clear at what you're aiming for, because if you're not, how on earth do you expect to ever take the actions required to achieve it? And then with those big goals that are like maybe 1 year, 3 year, 5 year goals, it's really important to have regular goal reviews and check-ins as well. And maybe just have something in the calendar that's like, where am I in relation to these goals? And what do I need to adapt to keep me on track and focused? So it's why in week 1 of the Dropship Unlocked masterclass, we have modules that are really focused on getting you clear on your deep-rooted reason for why you're building this business in the first place. And the reason for that is because later on I've seen when it gets hard, which it will, any business will, so you might as well prepare for it with strong foundations, knowing that it will get hard at some point. It's coming back to that reason why. We call it the destination and the why. And it's about where are you going and why are you doing this in the first place? Because when those obstacles, those puzzles are presented in front of you, that's the thing that will help you have the motivation to be able to navigate around them. And I remember right at the beginning, when I first started my store, I remember saying I would set my ads live on my first store once I had signed my 3rd supplier. That was the target I set myself. So that was like a micro goal. I'm going to sign 3 suppliers. And I knew that I couldn't progress in this business because of my own rule I'd set until I signed 3 suppliers. And I knew that signing suppliers was the thing that I'd probably push away and procrastinate and try to avoid. And so I put that as well, you can't proceed until you've done it. So I baked the goal that I knew I didn't want to do, or I thought I didn't want to do. I have no problem doing it now, but that comes with experience and time. And over the next few days, I went away and called suppliers, I emailed them, and I finally signed up my 3 suppliers. And so after that, I thought, right, I've got the products live now. I was that person that I just said is posting in our community. So I stayed up till midnight for weeks in a row and was just uploading products and getting everything live and ready to go. And then I expanded my goals because the ads were live and I was making my first few sales. So I thought, okay, I want to hit my first £10,000 month. But then with high ticket dropshipping, you very quickly achieve that. If you're selling products at £2,000, you only need 5 sales in a month and you've hit your £10,000 in sales month. So that was something we flew past. Then I thought, okay, I want my first £50,000 month. That's my next goal that I'm aiming for. And then you fly past that. Then it's the next £500,000 mark. And then it's the £1 million mark. And then it's the £1 million per year mark, right? And so even to this day, I'm still on this journey. I'm still expanding my goals all the time. I'm visualizing them. I'm enjoying the process of the journey. And I love the build and the challenge. So I think if you can engineer your entrepreneurial journey in that way, then it doesn't even feel like work because you get to get paid far more than someone who's working a job to do it, but you just enjoy the process and the journey as you go. So for me, it's the best of both worlds.
It is. That's why I love the beautiful game of business, because it's always this ongoing pursuit of the next goal. But at the same time, as well as having that ongoing pursuit and that drive to get to somewhere else, you also need to enjoy the journey that you're on in the moment. And it's beautiful that sort of connection that you've got between the two there, Lewis, where you're always striving, you've got something in mind, you're visualizing the next step. But at the same time, you're not letting yourself get carried away with not being there, and just enjoy the day-to-day tasks that you're taking to get to that point. Because that's what really builds the momentum. That's what makes it enjoyable, makes you jump out of bed in the morning so you know you can get to that next goal. Once you've got that lovely connection between the two, I think that's where the real success is made in business, whether that's an e-commerce business or any walk of life. So to be able to achieve those goals that you set, and for any high achievers, time management is crucial. So what do you think the top achievers do in terms of managing their time?
Well, I think they prioritize their tasks, not just based on urgency, but based on impact. Like, what impact is this going to have? Like I said about signing suppliers, I could have said, well, I need to choose the color theme on my website. Perhaps that was urgent because maybe that was a step in setting up the store, but it's not going to impact my business hugely. There are minor things that might be urgent and might need to be done, but actually there are some quite impactful things that if you don't do them, you're not going to move the needle forward on your business. So I think that's a key one. Effective delegation and automation as well to free up time for those high value needle moving activities that we talked about. So things like calling suppliers or getting products uploaded or getting your ads live initially, because you're not going to be making much money until your ads are live. Because you're not going to have any traffic coming to your store. So it's just getting to those milestones that's important. So it's at the beginning when you're wearing all of the hats, you're the salesperson, the marketing manager, the SEO person, the customer support rep, you are everyone. There are certain roles in this organization that drive the revenue into the company. And it's the person who signs the suppliers. It's the person who uploads the products, and it's the person who runs the ads. Those are the key things, right? The customer service is great as well, and that will benefit your brand in the long term. But sometimes people will just buy products from your store without even needing customer service. They don't need anyone to speak to. They'll just buy. It's one of the beauties of e-commerce. And so the other reason why I think that's important is because worrying about tweaking other things is something that could come later, and actually you don't even have to worry about it because you can pay people to do it and worry about it and fix it with the money you get from the revenue that comes in from the first steps. So focus on what is going to pay the bills now, because then later you can say, okay, I'll bring in a great web developer to revamp my website, or I'm going to bring in an ad specialist to run our ads, and I'll use some of the profit that we've accumulated to pay their fee to do that and take our business to the next level. So that's a key one. The other thing is knowing how to relinquish control. And so one of the things that our top achievers do that differentiates them is they are not so wedded to their business that they feel only they can do it. As soon as they are able to SOP something, standard operating procedure, create it into a list of steps, and then hand that over to a virtual assistant who you can hire from websites like onlinejobs.ph or even Upwork or Fiverr if you're just starting out, and then give those people the steps to upload the products and the steps to do your customer support, the scripts to answer your phones, the scripts to do your live chat on your site, firstly, that's enjoyable from a lifestyle standpoint because suddenly they have all their free time again. But if they're ambitious, which they usually are, if they're a top achiever, then they'll use that time effectively to either start another business. So we see many of our Dropship Unlocked members have started multiple stores now, or they'll just say, I'm going to take this business to the next level and sign more suppliers and optimize their ads and even like expand internationally if they want to. So it's fascinating to see, but I think you see so many people who get caught in this stage where they are successful, but then they become a victim of their own success because they don't outsource the tasks, and therefore they're just like trapped in a new set of golden handcuffs, not the one from their employer that they've now left because they're earning good money online, but now they're trapped by like their customers, email support tickets coming in from customers and questions about products and calling suppliers and paying suppliers, and like each of these things can be broken down into a list of if this then that statements. So if this happens, then reply with that. If this happens instead, then reply with this. And you just template the whole thing. Yes, it takes 10 times as long doing that as it does doing it yourself, but then you never have to do it yourself again. And that is the magic. I think that's the bit that so many people get right to that break. You know that image of like the person digging for gold and they get so close and then they just give up at the last minute. Like it's the bit that I wish with some of our members, I'm like, just trust the process and hire the VA because you can afford it now. I think they're just like so precious about their business, they're scared to let go. But when they do, they unlock this whole world of free time and scale as well. So it's great. I know you've built a team as well and know the benefit that comes with that.
Yeah, it's all about leverage. We've all got the same amount of time in the day. So as soon as you make your business completely rely on you, then it's only one person's day that can push that business forward. And as soon as I was able to outsource and put a team in place that handles all of the day-to-day operations, then suddenly you've got all of that time back to put it into the real income-generating tasks that's going to make a difference and to be able to scale your business or start another store and double your income that way. So you have to, at some point, relinquish control. And we notice that with some members, that's very easy to relinquish control. As soon as they notice they're doing something that isn't income-generating, they hand that into a process and somebody else picks that up. But for others, that's very difficult to give away that control. They've created this business from scratch. It's almost like their baby and they can't give it away and relinquish that control. But certainly from some of our most successful members, whether that's Jared or Philip or Adeline or Tay or James, hundreds of members that we've seen go through this process, the ones that really make the biggest difference to their own business and their lifestyle, crucially as well, is the ones that can relinquish control, manage their time effectively and get leverage by outsourcing the day-to-day tasks that aren't generating income. And that's where a lot of people, I think, fail. So if you can take something from this episode, it's to be able to relinquish control, be able to get leverage by bringing the right people in to do the right tasks.